These ladies have just been phenomenal, and we're going to finish it strong with one last speaker, and that's Miss Kaliyah Gardner. And Kaliyah is an 11th grader at Silverado High School. So please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Good morning. On October 29, 1966, Stokely Carmichael, a leader of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, orated his thoughts on black oppression. He believed that whites were adamant in providing obstacles that prevented blacks from progressing. He verbalized that legal institutions were only enforced for the purpose of Caucasians, who were reluctant in acknowledging the basic rights of other races unabatingly aware of these humane rights, in which they deserved. His speech was candid and exceedingly applicable to the African American race at the time. However, in 2014, I believe that supplementary actions must be applied within the black community to prevent Stokely Carmichael's words from diminishing in vain. Many individuals debated on whether the matter of civil rights should be more effectively approached morally or politically. Stokely Carmichael stated, "We must begin to think politically and see if we can have the power to impose and keep the moral values that we hold high. We must question the values of this society, and I maintain that black people are the best people to do that because we have been excluded from that society. And the question is, we ought to think whether or not we want to become a part of that society." So from 1955 to 1968, black individuals obstinately fought a political war regarding their rights. And although the lawful aspects of our cultural conflict have vastly improved, I find morally we are corrupt. We have become so involved with personal ambition, we have overlooked ethics. We have become so engaged with profitable exploitation, we have exposed ourselves to the society Stokely Carmichael warned us to be wary of. Stokely Carmichael testified that, "We are oppressed because we are black, and in order to get out of that oppression, one must wield the group power that one has, not the individual power, which this country then sets the criteria under a man may come into it." Now, instead of utilizing his advice, black culture has become similar to crabs in a barrel. What do I mean by that? When seeking success, we do not look to each other for support, nor do we assist others. In fear of sharing the success we're taught there's so little of. As a result, only black individuals are successful instead of African Americans as a unit. Consequently, our progression is moving backwards, and we are obliviously losing the power our ancestors strived for. We are no longer oppressed because we are black. No. We're oppressed because we are subconsciously selfish and morally distorted. Now the question is, how can we begin to build positive institutions that will allow blacks to relate to each other so to advance our culture? If we do this, when, where, and how do we start? Well, if you ask old Stokely Carmichael, he would have said that we should fight to be the leaders of tomorrow. Begin now, today, to start building those institutions and fight to articulate our position. However, the fact remains that most of the black community does not know how to lead. We question whether or not we're capable of leadership. Well, to prevent this self-doubt from plaguing future generations, we must display courage and become the leaders of tomorrow, occupying positions of real power, and to set a positive example for those now and those to come. In closing, I would like to further elaborate on Stokely Carmichael's coined phrase, black power, and the significance it has regarding the past, present, and future. Black power is defined as an assertion of black pride and the unity of African Americans to fight for their liberation by any means necessary. It is essential not to associate the term with violence, but more so with harmony within the black community. To accompany the phrase black power is the Black Panther. Stokely Carmichael explains, "A black panther symbolizes the strength and dignity of black people, an animal that never strikes back until he's backed so far into the wall, he's got nothing to do but spring out. And when he springs, he doesn't stop." Previously, it was the whites that were backing us into a wall. However, now we are suppressing ourselves with our vulgar language, our vulgar actions, our overall vulgar disposition as a culture. So all in all, we have to wage a psychological battle to redefine our culture in a positive and uplifting way, which is something that is inspired by Stokely Carmichael's Black Power speech that advocated for the rights we possess now and will one day successfully utilize. Thank you.
Good.